All right, so now we're going to talk about a skill called playing back hands. Now, this is something that doesn't happen all the time, but it is something that Floor can do whenever they want. So, for example, the time that this would usually take place is if you ended up dealing the cards, just like you see here, and then a player, after you swept all the cards up and put them away, a player wants to debate and say, hey, you didn't pay me, or you pushed me, I was supposed to get paid, or something along those lines. Floor usually has 3 different avenues that they can take when it comes to this. The first one is they can just agree with the player and say, okay, just give him his money. It's only $5, something like that. That's not the professional route they should take, but sometimes the Floor people are lazy and that's the route that they want to take. So the other option is that we can stop the game and they can give Surveillance a call really quick, and Surveillance will play back the footage and make sure what exactly happened on the game. Remember, the cards are already off the table at this point, so they have nothing to look at. So they have to play the video back to see exactly what happened, and that results in about a 4 to 5 minute delay of just us staring at each other in a very awkward silence with a pretty irritated player. So we can avoid all of that by playing the hand back, basically taking all the cards back out of the discard rack that were in that last hand. And that's what we're going to learn today. That way we can just play the hand back, reset everything, and then Floor will be able to look at what exactly the dealer had, what exactly the players had, and find out if we made the right decision or not. So let's talk about how that works. So in this example, the dealer ended up busting, and let's just say everyone got paid, or let's say this player didn't. This player gets paid, that player gets paid, but this player did not, for some reason. The players take their money, and I've already swept up the cards. Now I have the player in the middle is going to argue and say, hey, you didn't pay me. And I say, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not going to just, oh, I believe you and pay them. Even if you know you made the mistake, we never correct our own mistakes. Anytime there is a debate or there is an issue or problem or anything outside of the normal game, we always call Floor. Floor is your friend. Don't be afraid to call them. Don't think you're going to get written up. What will get you written up is fixing it without calling them. That's going to get you written up. Make sure you call them, they will fix it, and then everything's good. So I would just go Floor, and then wait for Floor to come by. If they don't respond, I'm going to keep repeating. Do not look away from the table to try to locate them. So Floor will come up, and they're going to say, hey, what's going on? And then all we have to do is discuss. Tell them what happened. Just say, this player is saying that I didn't pay them. I don't really remember what happened, or whatever the case may be. And then Floor may say, all right, play the hand back. Now, we are not supposed to play the hand back unless Floor tells us to. If a player says, hey, play that hand back, we need Floor to be like, yeah, go ahead and play it back. So don't just listen to the players. Always make sure Floor is the one that tells you this. So when they say play it back, we're going to reach in the discard rack. We're going to grab more cards than we needed for that last hand. Now, the important aspect about this that we need to know is that the dealer's hand is always on top. It doesn't matter if you do the player's hand first or the dealer's hand first when you sweep. The dealer's hand will always be the cards that are on top. So when we play this back, it's going to be the dealer hand first from the dealer's right to the dealer's left, not the other way around like we normally do. So it'll look like this. Just like that. Next, it's going to be the player's hands, the entire hand, from the dealer's right to the dealer's left. Normally, blackjacks or busted hands are not on the playback. But if the busted hands or blackjacks are on the playback, it's going to be after all of the surviving hands have already been played, or played back, I should say. So it should look like this. After you're done, and the players also confirm that their hands are correct, you can get rid of the cards that are here. Floor will now take the opportunity to look at what exactly happened, and then they'll say, all right, so did you not pay him? I'll be like, yeah, I didn't pay him, I'm sorry. And then they'll be like, all right, go and give him his $10. And that's what we'll do. And then, obviously, if you made a mistake, just apologize, saying sorry about that. I'm just getting in the motion a little bit, or whatever the case may be. You can also spice things up, make them laugh somehow. That's totally fine too. After that's taken care of, Floor will usually say, all right, go ahead and sweep up the cards, you're good to go. And then you're reset, ready for the next hand. So the important aspect when it comes to this is remembering that the dealer's hand is first. We go from right to left for the dealer, and then the players are next the entire hand from the dealer's right to the dealer's left. This is why when we sweep, it's so important to maintain the order of everything. And always remember, you won't remember everyone's hand all the time. So if you can't really remember, at a minimum, you'll be able to see what you had as the dealer at a minimum. If you can't reconstruct the hand perfectly, they'll just call surveillance and surveillance will tell them what happened. Just make sure that when you sweep up to discard those cards, sweep properly. Don't be lazy. If you try and just put everything together in one go, you're not going to be able to play that hand back if a player wants to contest, and you never know when they're going to want to make that argument.